Welcome back to the Bryan Devore Connection. I'm your host, Bryan Devore. The placement industry is a very important industry for the senior realm, so to speak, because when seniors need to downsize and move maybe into a senior community, they often need help in finding the right place. So here to talk to us today about her role as a placement professional and how she got to that role is my friend Jackie Gogue. Jackie, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Good, me too.
Yeah.
So you have kind of an interesting journey of kind of how you got to today, placement, but let's start, earlier than this.
Yes.
What got you interested in the whole senior world?
So, honestly, from the time I was a little girl, I've always had just a heart for seniors. Like I remember being in the grocery store, being with my, my aunts and uncles and grandparents, and just feeling such a sense of love and appreciation for them. So that's when it started. But my career actually started at Casa de las Campanas. I started at a very entry level, but something just called me. So I really did start my career over because prior to that, I was in marketing and event planning and like trade show marketing. So it was very different.
Yeah.
And I was starting over. It was an entry level position, but something just said, this is right.
This is where you need to be.
Yeah. So that's where it all started.
Yeah.
And then I worked my way up and I was a residency counselor. And really, my love, that's where I found my true passion and purpose, to be honest. So working with seniors and just having that sense of doing something good and having a true impact on someone's life, like directly.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what got me.
Yeah. And you've had a couple of different jobs, kind of since then in the senior world. Let's talk about placement.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
So what that means is helping a senior or their loved one find the right community or place for their loved one or for themselves. So maybe when it's they can't live on their own at home anymore, or perhaps they have something medical and so they're just not able to go home. There's so much information. So like I know for for most people, if they're looking for a place for their parents or for themselves, they would have no idea where to start. They might call the place that they know is down the road and they could call there, but it may not be the right fit for medical reasons, for budgetary reasons. So it's like a big puzzle. And so I feel like I'm that piece of the puzzle to make it simple and easy and provide support and guidance along the way.
Yeah. I've often compared what placement professionals do to what a real estate agent does. If I'm helping a client find a home to buy, I'm going to sit down with them. I'm going to assess their financial situation, get them with a lender, but make sure they're qualified for what they're looking for.
Exactly.
Pick a few homes. They may have picked some. I may pick some.
Yes.
And then we're going to go look at them together and really get a feel for what that's all about and then help them narrow it down and make a decision. You do the same thing, but it's with senior communities because there are so many different kinds of communities. There's buying communities and for rent communities and different levels of care and so forth. I can only imagine, and I know this working with seniors, is it's overwhelming for them. But you're able to really parse through it, and I'm sure you stay on top of what each community is like and what their staffing is like and so forth.
Yes, and so speaking to my previous experience, I worked for a very large national placement company, and really the blessing of being there is that I was able to work with 100 different communities, options, board and cares here in San Diego. So I learned, which places have what levels of care, what might be more better for social, independent, seniors. So I really am using that knowledge that I gained in order to really serve and help people. So they don't have to call, search on the internet. They just call me.
Right. Yeah. And you're connecting with a lot of professionals, like we talked on the phone, whether it be a financial advisor or an attorney, because they may have first visibility into a client situation with them or for their loved one who might need this. So tell me kind of how that might work. So they might give you a call and say, hey, Jackie, I have a client who needs some assistance. Where does it go from there?
Yeah, so from there I would connect with them and, like you said, find out what their needs are, what their care level might be, what their budget is, location. I think location is really important for it to be as close to the loved one, whoever might be around to support that person. I think that's important. So I would figure out what their needs are, and then help guide them, give the best options that I feel are a good fit, and then let them, go see for themselves. I do think it's really important for them to feel comfortable wherever they go. And so for when they go and see that place and they have that level of, this is it, that's really, the success.
Yeah, for sure. And, they all have different, food and activities, and there's so much to parse through. I can't imagine it would be easy to do on your own, which we know it's not. You picked an interesting name.
Yes.
For the name of your company.
Yes.
Halo.
Yes.
Why Halo?
So I chose Halo, and when you're starting a business, it's easy to get caught up on things. And so I didn't want to get, not start because of the name, but it did take me longer than I had hoped for. But I chose Halo because I wanted it to convey, who I am as a person and how I do business and how I support and how I serve. And so my faith is really a big part of my life. And at this stage in my life, I don't want it to be in the back. I want it to lead with it. And so I think Halo is a good mix of, my belief and my faith, and the love that I want to give to people, and I do that by serving.
I love that. Well, and the image I have with Halo is, it surrounds you and protects you, and that's really what you're doing.
Yeah, and I loved that you shared that. I was like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted it to exude. So I appreciate that you got that.
No, for sure. That's great. So Jackie's information is on screen, so you can give her a call, send her an email, but she does amazing work in the senior community. I've known her for years, and she definitely has a passion for this. If you are listening on the podcast, you obviously can't see that, but it's going to be in the caption. Jackie, thank you so much for coming today and educating our audience about placement and why you do what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure.